You are sitting on the edge of your bed staring at the wall. The room is quiet, but your head feels loud. You have things you want to do. There is a book you meant to read or a project you actually care about. But your body feels like lead. You reach for your phone, but even scrolling feels like a chore. You tell yourself that you are being lazy. You wonder why you have no discipline and why you can't just move. But this isn't the kind of tired that a night of sleep can fix. It is a strange, hollow feeling. It is the feeling of being finished. Not just finished with the day, but finished with being you. Most of us spend our entire lives performing without even realizing it. From the moment you wake up, you start putting on layers. There is the version of you that talks to your boss. That version is composed and professional and uses specific words. Then there is the version of you that talks to your parents. That version might be more guarded or perhaps more childlike. There is the version for your friends where you are funny or supportive. There is even a version for the person checking your groceries. Every one of these versions requires a different set of rules. Every one of them requires you to monitor your tone and your facial expressions and your posture. By the time you get home, you have been 5 different people. Your brain has spent the last 8 hours calculating how to fit into every room you entered. This is why you feel like you can't move. It isn't that you lack willpower. It is that your identity is exhausted. You have spent all your energy maintaining the friction between who you are and who you feel you have to be. When you finally sit down in the dark, your brain decides to shut everything off. It isn't laziness. It is a biological emergency brake. Your core self is trying to find its way back to the surface after being buried under a dozen different masks. I want you to consider the possibility that you are not broken. You have been taught to view your productivity as the only measure of your worth. So when you can't produce, you feel like a failure. But what if this apathy is actually a sophisticated form of protection? Your brain is not failing you. It is saving you. It has recognized that the cost of performing is too high. It has seen that you are spending more than you are earning emotionally. So it pulls the plug. It forces you into a state of nothingness because nothingness is the only place where no one is watching you. It is the only place where you don't have to be anyone for anyone else. The psychological name for this performance is self-monitoring. Some of us are high self-monitors. We are incredibly good at reading the room. We notice the tiny shift in someone's eyes or the way their voice changes, and we adjust ourselves instantly to make them comfortable. This is a survival skill. It probably kept you safe at some point in your life. But it comes with a massive metabolic cost. Your prefrontal cortex, which is the part of your brain responsible for focus and decision-making, is also the part that manages these social roles. Every time you filter a thought or hide a feeling to fit a role, you are burning the same fuel you need to clean your house or work on your hobbies. Think of your identity like a physical space. When you are alone and authentic, that space is clear. You can move around easily. But every social role you play adds a piece of furniture to that room. By the end of the day, the room is so crowded with other people's expectations and your own performances that there is no space left for you to move. You are trapped in a corner of your own mind. This is what we call role strain. When the requirements of your different selves start to clash, the brain experiences a state of cognitive dissonance. The tension between the person who said yes to that extra shift and the person who actually needs a nap creates a mental static that drowns out everything else. To move past this, we have to stop trying to optimize our productivity and start protecting our identity. The first step is what we call low masking intervals. This is not just about being alone. It is about being intentionally unobserved. When you are alone, but you are still thinking about what you need to do tomorrow, you are still performing for a future version of yourself. A low masking interval is a dedicated time where you engage in a sensory experience that requires zero social awareness. It could be sitting in the dark or listening to music with your eyes closed, or even just staring at a tree. The goal is to remove the audience from your mind. When there is no one to watch you, the brain can finally stop the resource-heavy process of self-presentation. The second principle is finding your identity anchors. An anchor is a small, specific action that feels like the real you regardless of who else is around. It is a tiny tether to your core self. Maybe it is the way you make your coffee or a specific song that makes you feel like yourself. Most of us lose these anchors during the day because we are too busy being what others need. You need to practice bringing one of these anchors into your social roles. If you can keep a small piece of your true self visible, even while you are at work, you reduce the friction of the performance. You are no longer jumping between two different worlds. You are simply bringing a bit of your world into theirs. This significantly lowers the cognitive load of your day. The third step is a cost of context audit. We often say yes to social events or extra responsibilities because we think we have the time. But time is not the same as energy. You might have 3 hours free on a Tuesday, but do you have the identity bandwidth to be social for those 3 hours? You have to start looking at your schedule not in terms of minutes, but in terms of roles. How many different versions of yourself do you have to be today? If the number is too high, you will experience the shutdown. You have to start pruning the roles that provide the least amount of genuine connection. It is okay to be the person who is a bit quieter at work if it means you have the energy to be the person who is truly present for your family or your own passions. We have to realize that our brains are not designed to be constantly perceived. For most of human history, we lived in small groups where people knew us deeply. We didn't have to explain ourselves or change our personalities every time we checked our email or scrolled through a feed. We lived in a state of high consistency. Today we are forced into high fragmentation. We are constantly switching contexts and constantly being judged by different standards. It is no wonder we feel exhausted. The apathy you feel is a protest. It is your soul asking for a moment of consistency in a world that demands constant adaptation. Imagine your life as a single thread. When you try to be everything to everyone, that thread gets tangled and knotted. You spend all your time trying to untie the knots instead of actually sewing anything. But when you simplify your roles and prioritize your core self, the thread becomes straight again. It becomes strong. You stop feeling like you are dragging yourself through the day and start feeling like you are moving through it. You are not lazy. You are just carrying too many people inside your head. It is time to let some of them go. It is time to give yourself permission to be just one person. As you move forward today, I want you to pay attention to that moment of shutdown. When it happens, don't reach for shame. Don't tell yourself that you need more discipline. Instead, ask yourself who you were trying to be today. Notice where the performance felt the heaviest. Acknowledge that you are tired because you have been working a job you didn't even know you had. The job of being whoever everyone else wanted you to be. It is a heavy burden to carry, and it is okay to put it down. True rest is not just the absence of work. It is the absence of an audience. Give yourself the gift of being unobserved. Whether it is for 5 minutes or 5 hours, find a space where you don't have to be anything at all. In that silence, you will find that your energy wasn't gone. It was just waiting for you to come home to yourself. You are not a machine that needs to be fixed. You are a person who needs to be remembered by the one person who matters most. You. Be gentle with the version of you that is tired. They have been through a lot today. Let them rest. Let the masks fall away and just breathe. You are still there underneath it all, and that is enough.